verge of breaking down.
Good morning, and happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday after Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Good morning. We're here with our host, Radio La Difference. Good morning, Mr. Man. Good morning, advocates. My advocates are here. Good morning, Alderman Simmons. Thank you for being with us. Good morning, Audrey Thompson, City of Evanston, Youth and Young Adults. We appreciate you. And most of all, good morning, Youth Delegates. Good morning. We had a full house this morning. Please share this video. You won't want to miss this show. We are excited. We are excited. We are here today talking about youth and student government, and how we can bring student government and that vision to the city of Evanston. You know, we just celebrated Thanksgiving, and when I was coming up, of course, we always had a kids table, and that's fine. But the kids table turned into a teenager table, and we never got invited to the adult table until we're adults. So I'm glad we're living in a world now that we know that youth need to be invited to the table, especially when we're to the conversations. Especially when we're talking about the world that they live in, and that they're affected by too. These youth are sharp. They are on it. They have so much to contribute. Their voices are so important. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let Alderman Simmons come tell us about the vision, and we're going to hear from the youth.
Awesome. So I'll make it quick. First of all, good morning. So happy to be here. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you to Cradle. Thank you to Audrey, everyone that has made this possible. It's taken so many to get us to this point. Youth leadership is so incredibly important. And I believe that until recently, with the commitment of Cradle and Kim's work, it's been undervalued and not recognized enough as a key priority, a leading voice necessary for us to make sure we are well informed as we govern the city, as our organizations are creating programs. And my experience as a youth leader was much like youth delegates and youth advocates in the community. leading and serving in various organizations in my faith community and at the school. So at King Lab, I attended King Lab for junior high, and Evanston Township High School, and was in student council there and the president. And it was in those moments and introductions early into leadership that it informed what my priorities would be and what my goals would be in my adult life. And we are excited that you all have already shown signs and interests of leadership. That's why you're here today. You're leading in your schools, in your neighborhoods, in your households. And we want to make sure that you are supported and equipped to share and lift up your voice and advocate for yourselves and also your classmates and others in the community maybe that are underrepresented, so that we have a just community, that livability that we talk about is enjoyed by everyone in Evanston at the same rate and with the same access. So it was a few years ago when I attended my first NLC conference, I saw these youth groups, and they were bright and brilliant, much like yourselves, and they were organized, and they were from all over the country, all 50 states represented. And I thought, well, our children need to be here. Our youth need to be here. Our youth need to participate. Our youth have something important to share, and they also have a lot to learn. And so I was able to work with Kimberly and Miss Kim and Director Hemingway and Miss Thompson and other leaders in town to get you to attend your first National League of Cities City Summit. I'm so proud you were there. I hope that you learned a lot. I'm sure you will be unpacking and understanding more about what you learned as time goes on. Our President-elect Joe Biden was one of the speakers. I don't know if you were at that session or not, but this is a really special opportunity to work directly with your congresspeople. Our congresspeople are Congresswoman Jan Jakowski, Senator Dick Durbin, and Senator Tammy Duckworth. And as you grow in this role, you'll have access to your congresspeople. Of course, you're a local elected, so your alderman, your alderwomen, and your mayor and your clerk, but you'll also have access to your congresspeople to let them know what's important in Evanston and what they need to do better or more of to meet your expectations. So just a little bit about that. As time goes on and COVID goes away, we'll be able to travel to DC and to other member cities to learn more from your colleagues across the nation that are youth leaders just like yourself. But in the meantime, we are going to ask that this group have a mayoral appointment, an official committee, commission, or board. And that's for you all to decide amongst yourselves. Decide, do you want to be a committee, a commission, or a board? And I'm here to support you through the legislative process so that you can have an official mayoral appointment and be one like Mr. Glenn Mackey, I see, who is here. And there are other advocates for actions that are on boards and commissions. And they are the ones that form the policy and the programming that happens at the city. So you would be the ones to make recommendations on behalf of your community on what you would like to see changed, and that would be voted on by the city council. And so that's how policy is made here in Evanston. It's not made by doing a bunch of foolishness, right? It's made by actually thinking, working on solutions, collaborating, partnering, sometimes compromising, sometimes absolutely not compromising, depending on what the matter is. So just welcome and thank you all, and thank you to your parents for investing in you in this way and supporting you so that you can represent our city. So thank you. I am so happy to be here, and I can't wait to learn more about your experience at NLC.
Thank you, Alderman Simmons. This is so exciting. This whole, adventure, I'll call it, this journey has been really exciting. We've just begun. And we all are learning and doing it together. It was my first time at the conference. It's virtual, but we got through it. We navigated it. And I think, and you guys are going to hear as we unpack some of it today, the students learned a lot. We talked about everything from, and had workshops and everything from mental health to racial inequities to COVID-19 and to small business. And seeing that it's Small Business Saturday, I think we want to kick off and hear from the youth about small business. Part of what we committed to was each of them chose a small business here in Evanston that they would commit to, and whether that means they patronize the business or they tell people about the business, any way that they can uplift this small business is one of their charges as a youth delegate. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to ask, what small business are you committing yourself to? Alyssa?
Hi, everyone. I'm Elisa. This Thanksgiving, actually, we got to support Jennifer's Edibles. We eat there all the time, but this Thanksgiving, we were able to, I came downstairs the morning of, and I was like, Mom, I want a pie. And I forgot to tell you that I wanted a pie, but I want a pie. And then she was like, I don't know what we're going to do. I was like, it has to be a good one, though, not like a grocery store pie, none of that. And she was like, okay, we're going to call Jennifer's Edibles and see if they can get a pie, if they have one extra. And they had one, and it was a highlight of my Thanksgiving. It was just so good. And I was really appreciative to them for making that for me.
Thank you, Elisa. The kids correct me on their names, so thank you for that. But listen, tell me then, how will you move forward in supporting Jennifer's throughout this next, year?
Oh, definitely. So I just think that the best way to support her is to get people to go out to her restaurant, because she's very helpful within the community. She does a lot of things for us. And I just think that if we have more people, more customers to go in and eat at her restaurant supporting her business, she will be able to take all the business she's getting and spend it elsewhere in our community as well. So it'll be a cycle and it'll help out.
Okay, so if you listen, Jennifer, anybody who knows Jennifer, Elisa is ready to partner with you and support your small business. Okay, Elijah, who are you supporting?
I'm supporting the restaurant on Main Street called the Jerk Pit. I know we eat that a lot, and we even got it catered on the Evanston basketball team. So we've already done some kind of highlighting on how good the restaurant is, and I know I like it a lot, so I definitely support it.
Perfect. All right, Jerk Pit, Elijah got you, and the basketball team. Thank you, Elijah. I'm going to go to Nia. Nia, what small business are you supporting this year?
Much like Elisa and Elijah said, I'm going to be supporting small restaurants in the city. So there's a restaurant named Koi. It's an Asian restaurant downtown Chicago. Downtown Evanston, I'm sorry. And it's kind of become like our family restaurant. We know when we go there that the service is going to be great. We know the owners and the managers of the restaurant. And so in whatever way possible that we can help, we let them know that we will help them.
Okay, I'm going to go to Naja. And Naja, tell us, thank you, Nia. Tell us not only what you're supporting, but why is small business important? Small local business.
Hi, everyone. I'm Naja, and I just want to say, for especially small businesses are important because they fund our community, and they open up opportunities for people to get employed, and small businesses also open up opportunities for those who are interested in entrepreneurship. So I would like to support the Mini Chic Boutique, which is on Asbury Avenue. And I really love thrifting, so I try to find different shops I can go to, and I feel like this year especially I'll be needing more thrifted clothes, so I'm excited to go there and check out what they have.
They have some great stuff, Naja. So that's a great partner. All right, thank you, Chris. Chris, who are you supporting?
The Jerk Pit, because just this last week, right before Thanksgiving, my mom and I, along with my sister, handed out free meals to senior citizens and low-income families.
I saw you guys on Facebook. Our village, you guys fed about 450 people. That was amazing. What an amazing partnership with the Jerk Pit. Thank you for your service. Then I'll just go right to your sister since I'm looking right at her, Lila.
I was actually gonna say the same thing. Since We gave free meals to low-income families and senior citizens at the Jerk Pit, and they helped us. And they made a lot of food, and by the time that we got there, they prepared a lot of things. So I'd say the Jerk Pit.
Okay. And you guys get to see firsthand what it felt like to help others, okay? So that's the kind of community service we're talking about. So we appreciate you. And Mariah, did I say it right?
Yeah, it's Mariah.
Finally.
Hi, my name is Mariah, and the small business that I support is Miss B's Bakes. She has like a lot of like sweets and cheesecakes and things like that. And she also has a boutique that she like recently started. So yeah, I've been trying to support her and help her through that and like spread the word about her things so she can make more money and give the money back to the community.
Thank you. And you know, that's the best way, word of mouth. We tell somebody and they tell somebody, and that's a great way to support. Miss Tiana, who is a student advocate. Now, she's a youth delegate, but she's a student advocate. So Alderman Simmons came to us because she knew about the work that we have been doing with students for the last couple of years. And Tiana has been right there with us. So Tiana, you're wearing two hats today. So tell me what small business you're going to support.
I'm gonna support Rika's craft. She's done a lot. She's done a couple of little, and she's done a couple of classes, you know, teaching a couple of kids little things. And I've actually just got a machine of my own, and she's teaching me a lot. So I'm gonna try to have my own little business.
Can you repeat that because it broke up for me? I didn't get it. The business name?
Okay. Rika's Crafty Creations.
Okay, nice.
Okay, and Mr. Rika actually received a community building grant, and I don't know if you were part of her class where she taught youth how to actually screen T-shirts and really begin to start their own businesses. So I am really excited that you have now gotten a machine and are on your way. That's super paying it forward. Thank you, Mr. Rika. I hope you're watching. Jacoby, your camera's off, but we still want to hear from you.
Oh, so I said I was going to support C&W Market down on the corner of Church Street in Dodge, because that's basically the Fifth Ward famous little store. You know, people go to get their like little groceries or little snacks they need and to go back home. And if they go to school, they go to that store early in the morning. Or if you're a junior, you go there for like your lunch break.
Perfect. And you're right. It's our Fifth Ward store, and we definitely need to support. Thank you. There he is. Good morning.
Good morning.
We need to support not only our community, but our ward. I know you're a Fifth Ward kid, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So those are just some of the things we learned. I was really, and I believe that was like our first workshop. Happy to learn that, you know, they knew that youth needed to be involved as far as local businesses. You know, it's real easy to go to the big box stores or to the big restaurants, but it's so important to go to our small businesses. So we are wishing all small businesses a season of sold outness. Okay. So we're hoping that for all the small businesses this holiday. All right, we have Ms. Thompson. Ms. Thompson, did you have any questions for the youth? We couldn't have done this. We've been on the phone and on the emails late night, pulling this together. I appreciate her so much. I think the students have gotten a million emails between me and Ms. Thompson. But Ms. Thompson, thank you for joining us this morning. I know I sent you a profile. Did you have anything you wanted to say or ask the youth in particular?
You know, I think the biggest thing is I'm really excited that the young people on this Zoom today have highlighted many of our small businesses that have been working through the pandemic to feed older adults and just community members who have been affected by the stay-at-home order. And even with the food insecurity team pivoting to move away from more of the prepared meals to groceries, I think it is even more pivotal now for us to do more of supporting our small businesses. So I thank you for highlighting businesses that were not necessarily a part of the grants provided by the Evanston Community Foundation, but in addition to those restaurants, the others like the Jerk Pit and the craft store and the thrift store. I'm also a thrifter. I don't like to buy anything full price. And so if someone else wants to wear it a little bit and try it out and then I can purchase it, I am all for a thrift store. So I think that's amazing. I really want to thank the youth delegates, and we're hoping, because just from some of the questions that we've already asked, I know that COVID is really scary for many of you. You all said that most of you said that COVID-19 was very scary, and you're very concerned about what this means for your futures. And so, I'm hopeful for the future for us, and even hopeful that at some point we will be able to attend this same conference in person. Our alderperson, Ruth Simmons, has a true vision for how we want to take this council and move it forward. Even we call you a youth council or youth delegates, but even, your voice and saying what you want to be called. So you all are looking sharp in your sweaters and your vests that Laura Fine was able to support us in purchasing, and Alderperson Ruth Simmons working into the late hours to get the patches that are on your sweaters and vests. So you all are looking sharp, and I really appreciate. So I'm not going to take up much more time because I want to hear from you. But we'll piggyback. But I do want to mention those 5 small businesses that really work through the pandemic. You've already mentioned C&W Market, Jennifer's Edibles. We've got Planet Gyros. We also have Soul and Smoke and Chef Q. So those were the 5. And then in addition to that, those small minority business owners that you all have already mentioned on this call, we just really appreciate you all for giving a shout out to those restaurants.
Thank you, Ms. Audrey. Yes, the students are really on the pulse of what's going on and what's happening. So it's always excited to hear from them. I want to ask them next, really kind of piggybacking on you saying about the COVID being concerned, but we talked about what their concerns were, and then Alderman Simmons even asked what we could do better or what we could do. So I'm going to start with Naja. What is your biggest concern right now? As we talk about the state of the world?
My biggest concern includes the fact that there isn't much unity, and I wish that there were more unity. There's more unity in our community, specifically in the youth. I wish there was more unity in our youth, and my biggest concern is that we're steering away from that. And my second biggest concern is social media and the fact that fake news spreads awfully faster than real news, and that we don't learn the truth in our schools. And that's a big concern of mine as well.
That's a huge concern, Naja. Thank you. We have to cipher through what's real and what's fake. And sometimes we get lost in what's fake. I'm going to ask Nia, who's right up in my corner. What's your biggest concern right now, Nia?
Just like Naja said, the lack of unity in our country, and just being unsure of what the future looks like or what's going to happen in the future, as well as COVID-19. I was watching the news last night, and it said that the United States has now hit 13 COVID cases nationally, and it's very scary. And it's, like I said, I'm very unsure of the future. I'm worried about my friends and, the people around me who aren't taking this seriously, who think that it's just like if it doesn't affect them because they're too young, or they're just like untouchable in a sense. And so I'm just worried about them. I hope that they begin to take this serious, and that a lot of people begin to take this serious and understand that this is people are losing their lives because of this. People are losing their families because of this. And yeah, that's just my biggest concern.
And I'm glad we have voices like yours, student voices like yours, saying it is a concern. And it does affect, young people sometimes think they're invincible and I'm going to be all right. But maybe your family member won't be all right, or somebody that you've come in contact with. So thank you for being concerned, and thank you for being concerned about your friends and encouraging them to do the right thing. And that's socially distance and mask up. What about you, Lila? What's your biggest concern?
I'm very concerned about social distancing because I feel as if a lot of people don't really take it as serious as they're supposed to, because I notice a lot of times when I do go out, I wear a mask and everything and I do what I'm supposed to do as social distance. But I notice that many people choose not to, and they think that COVID won't affect them when it really affects everyone. And especially when they say that it doesn't affect young people, it affects young people too, because there have been people my age who have gotten COVID, and I don't want to get COVID due to someone being negligent or any of my family members to get COVID. So I'm just saying that we should all social distance and, think about that a lot more.
Thank you, Lila. Lisa, tell me what we could do better, or what would you do? What direction would you point us in as far as not just COVID, or as the world turns today? What are your thoughts?
I just think that, like, with COVID and with our country being divided, that we all just need to take some time and actually just like talk and listen to each other. I feel like a lot of us are like going through something, especially during the holidays, since we're not around family. Like, it's a tough time for a lot of people. And I think if we just took the time to actually reflect on our lives and then communicate with other people what we're feeling, what we're going through, and actually listen to what the other person is saying instead of just talking all the time, we would be able to see some improvement in the way people are feeling. And I think that when people feel better, they do better. So once we start having people having these conversations and they're starting to feel better about the world around them, we'll start to see better change and be able to grow and move forward and move past all the trials that we're going through now.
Lisa, I love that, which takes us right to one of our other workshops, which is mental wellness. We talked a lot about mental wellness at this conference. At least I think you said it. If you do better, if you feel better, you do better. And a lot of it just starts right at the core in our mental health. So we talked about mental wellness and how we're taking care of ourselves, and what we can do and do better to take care of ourselves. So I'm going to ask Elijah, how has your mental wellness been through this COVID, and what have you been doing to take care of yourself?
One big issue I know everyone has during these times is like a lot of stress. Even for like the seniors, I know like applying for colleges and writing essays and everything like that, and then on top of like doing extra activities, like if you play a sport, or if you're doing something else, helping around the house. I know that when all that stuff piles up, especially with school, that it can be extremely stressful. And I think it's important to find your getaway, whether that's it can be like drawing or cooking or whatever makes you happy, to just take time to get away from all the school and stuff, because it's really not good for you to pile all that stuff up. So yeah, I just think personally what I do, I like to exercise, so I do that at home a lot. Just to kind of like take my mind off all the stress, take breaks. I think it's really important, because stress can like really do harm to your body mentally.
Thank you, Elijah. We have a lot of athletes on our youth delegates panel. Elijah's on the basketball team. We have Mariah on the volleyball team. We have Elisa. Elisa's on, I forget what sport. I don't know if it's volleyball, but I know Elisa. What is it, baby?
Volleyball team.
Volleyball, Tiana's basketball. We have a couple football, Jacoby football. So we have a lot of athletes in one of the workshops, because most of these seasons are gone, or may have the potential to be gone. So it's a lot to deal with. Student athletes, are really focused on not only on school but their sport, especially our seniors who want to go away to school. So one of the workshops was really about dealing with having that sport kind of just taken away from you and really kind of finding who you are outside of that sport. So like I said, some really, really interesting workshops. Tiana, tell us what you're doing to take care of yourself and how's your mental wellness been throughout this COVID quarantine season?
My mental wellness. It's been okay. It's been up and down. Yeah. But so far my teachers, they've been helping a lot. We do a lot of surveys asking. They brought people to talk to us. They give us different websites we can use. And I use a couple of the websites and they're really helpful. Because being in the house, learning all this, you're basically teaching yourself. So a lot of stress is building up. So I've been trying to push through it and using the websites that they've told us to use. They've been helping. So yeah.
And Tiana, we got a great view of your sweater. Looking real sharp. I had a nice view of Elijah. So you guys look great. Turn a little bit so we can see the patch. Amazing. Amazing. You guys look good this morning. Really good. Tiana took us right into educational inequities. Not only during COVID, but we just talked about them in general. But especially during COVID and in this time. And we even asked the students in our own debriefings, what kind of education inequities have they experienced or have they seen? And what would they like to improve? I'm going to ask Chris.
I'm sorry, you said my name?
I did, Chris. We're talking about educational inequities. Have you experienced any or seen any or your thoughts about educational inequities during COVID?
Well, I wouldn't really say I've experienced any, so I don't really have too many thoughts on that.
Okay, well, I know Mariah and I talked about some. And Mariah, can you give me some thoughts?
I'm sorry. My thing keeps breaking in and out. I can't hear what's going on.
Can you hear me now, baby?
Yeah.
Okay, we were talking about educational inequities, and you talked about some that you had experienced yourself. Can you share?
Oh, I was just talking about like how sometimes like when you're like the only black, like especially being a black girl, like I feel like people just kind of have like this stereotype in their head for like the type of how you're supposed to act or how you're supposed to like come off to other people. So like when you're like actually like engaging in conversations and putting out good input, people kind of like take shock to that and are like kind of like confused or things like that. And it's kind of like weird seeing that people are like underestimating you and like things like that. So
yeah, Emma talked a lot about not being heard and not being seen for who she is and the student she is, and people just assuming that maybe she wasn't a good student or wasn't interested in classes, not only from her peers but from teachers. Naja, I see you shaking your head. Can you jump in?
Yeah, to piggyback off of what Mariah said, I definitely feel that and have felt that most of my upbringing in school. People do make a lot of assumptions, and when you do speak out and you're able to, when you're able to express yourself very outwardly, people are taken back by that in many different ways. In fact, they start to label you and put you in a box just because you don't give in to the societal norms that they expect you to give into. So I would just say it's definitely something very real, and that a lot of Black girls experience it, and I myself have.
All right, I'm going to give this conversation. I can't believe our time is going like this. I do want to give the advocates a chance to maybe ask the youth a question. Do any of my adult advocates who've joined us, our advocates for action, have anything they want to ask the youth this morning?
You know what? I don't really have anything to ask. I just want to say good job, well done. The COVID, even though it's bad, it's created an opportunity for you to really sit down and talk to some of our entrepreneurs and community leaders that kind of work behind the scenes and up front. People like Chef Q, Vercel James of Awesome Sauce, First Farm to Table Hot Sauce, and people like Alderman Robin Rue Simmons that are showing us the basic building blocks for entrepreneurship, helping us break that glass ceiling of creating generational wealth through entrepreneurship. So these are people that will talk with you and help you develop or even convey an idea to your peers on starting a business. So COVID, it's bad, but it's created a window of opportunity for you to extend your reach and your voice.
Thanks, Glenn. Any of my other advocates before I give it back to Alderman Simmons?
Well, I would just like to say that I'm very proud of all of you. And I'm wondering, what do you think is needed to help engage other youth into community service and leadership?
Who's talking? If you want Mariah?
Go ahead, Lisa. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go real fast. I think that the best way to engage the youth in community service is to go through school, because we're like talking to our teachers every single day, and like we get most of our news and announcements from them. And I take a class called Senior Studies where like our main thing is community service. So we like actually have to like go out and find like community service that we can do like every week. But I know that other classes don't do that same thing. So if you had like a community service opportunity, maybe tell like some teachers. I know that they send out like the community service bulletin as an email, but a lot of emails get lost because we're getting a lot of emails like all the time. There's like our emails are piled up. So I think if you were to like contact teachers, any teachers that you know that are at ETHS, tell them to let their students know. I think you'd get a lot of participants because we want to do something, like we want to get out the house or we want to get on Zoom and talk to other people and, just help out. It makes you feel really good. So I think that's the best way to engage the youth.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I definitely agree.
Go ahead, Mariah. I'm sorry.
You're good. I definitely agree with Elisa, but I was definitely going to say that, like, I think social media has, like, a really big, like, part of all of our lives. Like, everyone's on social media. Everyone's on Instagram, Snapchat, and it's, like, you can't really, like, that's what people do all day, every day. So I feel like if people, like, spread awareness about community service or show people, like, how to be more active within their community, like, even if it's just a post or, like, a reminder of, like, oh, do this, do that. Or some people make, like, pages just to, like, spread awareness about certain things like that. So I think that's really important because if it's on social media, we see it every day. You can't really, like, get away from it. And I think it's just, if that's, like, more of a normalized thing, I think more people are going to want to do it and more people are going to want to be a part of it. So, yeah.
That's an excellent point, Mariah. And we are getting Instagram ready as we speak. That's an excellent point. Ms. Thompson?
I just wanted to say these were all really good suggestions about what, I'm listening and I'm saying, okay, so I need to do a better job at engaging young people to give them the opportunity, not just say, get out in your community and do X, Y, and Z. But the page is a really good idea to say, here are specific opportunities. Like young people don't know that they could shovel snow for older adults and people who have disabilities, and that's a part of a city program. We're also having these pop-up pantries that are coming, out and young people on this call or who are listening can also volunteer to be at those pop-up pantries, moving from now until February. So I think really good opportunities for me to give to young people to say, hey, not just, adults can be, a participant in these endeavors, but you all as well. I want to encourage everyone who's listening or who's on the call currently to complete the Mental Health is Essential survey that the COVID Task Force for Mental Health put out a week or so ago. And it really allows you to say, what would be best for you, when it comes to the city rolling out programs or all of our community partners who are trying to create programs, because mental health is essential. We do a whole lot. If someone said, hey, you need to take this medicine or this medicine for high blood pressure or cholesterol or what have you, we're all on that. But for some reason, we separate our brains and our mental health from our physical health. And as you all have said on this call, if you're having some issues with being, joyful, and you can't find joy in the simplest things in life, then, there are some concerns for that. So we'd like to know, and this Mental Health is Essential survey will allow us to know what we can do better. So please make sure you're filling out the form when you see it. It's online. It's on the City of Evanston's website. And it's also everywhere in paper form. So just make sure you're telling us. It's an anonymous survey. Make sure you're telling us what we can do better, your community partners and your city as a whole.
Okay, so you guys got some homework, and not only my youth delegates, if you guys are listening on Facebook, Ms. Audrey, can you maybe put it in the comments where people can find this? Take this survey. If we're all trying to have programs that can be helpful, this is a tough time. So we appreciate you, City of Evanston, and doing this. Before I turn it back over to Alderman Simmons, you guys have met them, but I want them to officially introduce themselves. Tell us what grade you're in, and tell me maybe one thing you love about Evanston. They are here to serve. So let's start with Elisa, and you're going to tell us who you are, what grade you're in, and what you love about Evanston.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elisa. I am a senior at ETHS. What I really love about Evanston is you guys really give the youth a chance to talk, and you guys actually want to hear what we have to say. I have learned that parts like communicating with the adults in Evanston, I have found more of a confidence in myself in speaking, and I really appreciate you guys for that.
Thank you, Alicia. We appreciate you. I'm going to go to Amariah.
My name is Amariah. I'm in 10th grade, and one thing I love about Evanston is just the community. I feel like it's a really good community in that a lot of people, it's easy when it's time to get together and communicate and do things like that. It's not a difficult task, and it's kind of like one big family kind of. So yeah, I love that about it.
That's nice. Elijah, you're next.
Elijah, I'm a senior at Evanston, and one thing I like about Evanston, I'd say is the diversity. You get to talk to a lot of different people that have had success, and they are willing to reach out to you and help you. So I think there's a lot of resources like that to kind of put yourself in a position to be successful in life.
Perfect. Thank you, Nia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nia Dillard. I am a freshman at Spelman College. And one thing that I love about Evanston is the closeness that everyone has. Everyone kind of knows everybody, and everyone is familiar with everybody. And like Amariah said, it's kind of like a big family, and that's something that I really appreciate.
And Nia worked with us her senior year at Evanston, and we reached out to her, and through her finals at her first semester at Spelman, she came on back. She went to the conference with us, and we really appreciate you, Nia. So thank you. Lila.
One thing I like about Evanston is the community, especially when a lot of people, you get to have a lot of opportunities, and well, yeah.
Thanks, Lila. Tiana?
I'm Tiana. I'm in 9th grade. And one thing I might say two. One thing I like about Evanston is the unity in our community. We have a little, not a lot, but the little that we have is worth it. And another thing is that kids have somewhere to go after school to get help with the work instead of going home and it not getting done.
Thanks, Tiana. Naja?
My name is Naja Osborne, and one thing that I would say I really like about Evanston is the community aspect. I will say those who know others in the community, you're able to get opportunities. And so I will say that I really enjoy the community aspect. I do also feel as though the schools are well funded, and there's opportunity there as well.
Thank you, Naja. My buddy Jacoby.
Oh, hello. I forgot what we were talking about again.
Jacoby.
Yeah, hello.
We're talking about what grade are you in and why do you love Evanston?
Oh, well, I'm a junior, and the reason I love Evanston is like you could fit. If you want to be yourself, you could just be yourself. You don't have to always fit in, and like everybody, you can have your own friend group. You don't need to be like hanging out with like whoever they say the famous or the cool kids. Like you can always have your own little friend group, or you can hang out with. If you're an athlete, you hang out with the athletes. You know.
Okay, so you can find your own little crib.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the swag you put on the vest. Do your thing with it. I like that. Do your own thing. I love it. All right, Chris.
I'm a senior at UTHS, and one thing that I really like about Evanston is the diversity, because I really enjoy being able to get to know people from different backgrounds and learn more about them.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Well, as you see, we have a really, really great group from 9th graders to freshmen in college. This group is amazing. They have some thoughts. Adults sit down and talk with the youth. They have so much to contribute. I'm going to give it back to the Alderman to close us out. I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I have enjoyed being a part of this startup delegate group, or whatever we choose to name them, or whatever they choose actually to name themselves. But just being a part of this youth leadership has been amazing. So thank you, Alderman Simmons, and thank you, Audrey Thompson.
So thank you. I'm trying not to be emotional right now. I'm so moved by your leadership, so inspired and feeling very encouraged for our future here in the community. And I couldn't agree with each of you more for all the reasons why I love Evanston as well. And the reasons why I'm so encouraged that you will continue on in the spirit of unity and diversity and progressiveness and inclusion. So thank you all. A couple of things that I want to say is, as you're working through NLC, there will be national agendas that you will be in solidarity with other member cities. And the organization represents about 2,000 municipalities, cities, and villages across the nation. But I don't want you to be stuck in anybody's box. So if you are concerned about climate change or air quality or whatever it is, if you're concerned about it and it is impacting your lived experience here in Evanston, or something that you're passionate about and you think that there's some opportunity for improvement, or you just want to be a part of that conversation, please do raise your hand. And we love innovation. So we're not asking you for you to just be thinking about the things that we're thinking about. That's the beauty of having your young minds and your experiences that you have at your schools and in the neighborhoods, because you're going to be thinking about things that we may have just honestly overlooked because of everything else that we're dealing with, especially right now with COVID and all of those consequences. So take every opportunity to lead, to grow, to challenge us, to innovate, lead in your communities. Let your friends know that this opportunity is here. Their voice can be heard through your leadership. And I just want to thank you. I think Kim mentioned, and I forgot to mention, our state senator, Laura Fine, was the first to say yes and provide us the funding that we need so that you could have your official gear. And we're going to be asking for more support from the community. If there's anyone watching in the community that cares about youth leadership, that understands the value and significance of our youth voice, please be prepared at some point in the future to help fund their trips to DC so that they can go to Capitol Hill and meet with their congresspeople and to whatever other member city is going to be next. I think that is it. I did want to, if there were any youth that joined in the call that are not a delegate or a advocate, if you'd like to unmute yourself and give any comment or ask any question, I just wanted to make sure that we have open dialogue with any youth that are ready to start participating.
Alderman Simmons, I'm scrolling. I don't see any, I don't see any new youth, but we encourage, thank you for encouraging the voice. Youth voice is important. I hope you guys were inspired out there. I see a lot of the parents watching.
Oh,
today.
good.
We thank you to
parents. Just thank you to the parents. I know this isn't about you, it's about your children right now, but you make it possible. And we just thank you for allowing your children to use their voice in the community, for exposing them to this beautiful community and giving them what they needed at home to have the confidence to come out and serve in this way. So thank you to all the parents. I know what that's like being a mom and now a grandmom. But just want you all to be thinking about how this might, I know we have at least one that says they're interested in a public policy major when they go on to college. And want you to be thinking about that, not just in an elected role. That's one way to serve the community, but there are so many municipal careers out there that are very well paying and very rewarding. And maybe you'll learn more about that from our director level staff, and Ms. Thompson maybe can speak with her colleagues and they can introduce you more to career paths in municipal government as well. And with that, I'm staying in touch with Ms. Kimberly on the date for the Rules Committee. I'll need you there sharp and ready to share your experiences. And we are going to be asking support from the community. So you may even want to write a letter of support, ask your friends and parents to write a letter of support that we establish a appointed youth commission committee or board. And that will be a mayoral appointment. And those details will be determined. But please do be prepared and invite your families so that they can see you present before the Rules Committee, which consists of the entire City Council.
All right. Well, thank you, Alderman Simmons. What an amazing show. I want to give a Zoom hand clap to all of our youth delegates and out there in Facebook land. Let's Zoom hand clap to them. Thank you for joining us. We will be here next Saturday. Please stay safe. Youth, stay safe. We will talk with you soon. We appreciate you, your service, your leadership. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Showing us the way.
Daisy Copeland, and I'm 40 years old. I'm a working mom of 2 girls. I'm married, and I live here in Evanston, Illinois. I decided to become a member of Advocates for Action because I found that it was a really innovative way to get involved in the community. Basically recognizing that as a citizen, you don't necessarily have to have a title or a leadership position to empower yourself and be an active voice and make change.
My name is Glenn Mackey, and happily married, and I'm a father of a daughter. The Advocates for Action, I think, basically, to make it really simple, they're a group of concerned residents, citizens of Evanston, that have got together, organized ourselves, educated ourselves, and started a process of continuous learning and understanding and incorporating different ideas into our environment so we can start liberating people and educating people.
The approach that I wanted to have as it pertains to the model of training for Advocates for Action, we call it the 4 Ds. It is determine, develop, deploy, and deepen.
So the training with Pastor Dillard for me, I will say, was very interesting. I absolutely loved it. I look forward to my Saturdays, and I will go away, reevaluating some things.
What makes Advocate for Action different than any other group is that we have over 40 organizations that we partner with, more resources.
The issues that I'm excited to see the Advocates for Action help the city with is, frankly, issues that we're struggling with right now. And I think that, hearing the voices from a lot of people around this community will make sure that some of the social service programs and the really important youth programs that we have in the community are protected.
My vision is for this group to become a cohort.
My hope for the future of Advocates for Action is more members of our community will find their voice.
I'm an advocate.
I'm an advocate.
I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate.
I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate.
I'm an advocate for action. You show us the way. Action. Advocates for action.
You've been listening to Evanston Cradle to Career Advocates for Action on Radio La Difference. Please tune in again next Sunday for another show. You've been listening to Evanston Cradle to Career Advocates for Action on Radio La Difference. Please tune in again next Saturday for another show.